In a galaxy far, far away, there exists a group of fierce and fabulous women who are on a mission to explore the depths of pop culture. They are the Galactic Gals, and they are here to take you on a journey through the cosmos of entertainment. From the latest TV shows and movies to a trip down the Milky Way of nostalgia, they will delve into the worlds of fantasy and imagination, bringing you insights and analysis that are out of this world. So buckle up, cosmonauts, and get ready to blast off with the Galactic Gals Pop Culture Podcast.
Hey, everybody. We're back for episode 23, and Michelle's here.
Finally.
She's back this week. She survived. Yay. Yay.
Yay.
She's very glad to be back. So,
yes.
So glad to have you back.
Oh, I missed you all last week. I did. That's why I was commenting and everything, adding my 2 cents in here and there, but
yeah,
I'm back.
I love that. I think that was great. You're still here anyway, you know. And we watched the trailer, and you had some comments from the backstage.
Yeah.
And, you're, obviously you're worried just like me that Donna's not going to make it.
Yeah, I'm like, man, oh boy, the trailer was awesome, and I love Donna. What the hell is that? Yeah. And she's like, well, let's go kick its ass. So yeah.
Right.
Donna's great. Love Donna.
Yeah, I love her, and I'm gonna enjoy. I can't wait to see them reunited because come on. I'm not gonna sing the song, but that sounds like I was going reunited, and it feels so good. But yeah, it does feel so good to see them back together, and I'm very excited. We have a lot of Doctor Who stuff this week. A lot. Probably more than we had in a long time. I've been collecting this week of articles, some good, some bad, some okay, some inflammatory, some that's got some of our feathers ruffled this week, but and some Star Trek stuff and other stuff. But so yeah, there's been a lot of Doctor Who talk, but honestly, this week I've been digging around on different forums, and the thing that I'd noticed that people are really just upset about this week isn't Doctor Who or any of that.
Mhm.
It's actually Henry Cavill's hair. Like, this is a thing. Like, he announced his role in Argyle, which I have no idea about the film at all. I haven't delved that far, but okay, look, it's for a role, people.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. Like, I don't see a whole lot of Doctor Who and engagement as much, but I have seen a lot about Henry Cavill and his hair for
Oh
Argyle.
boy.
And so I collected some of the funniest comments that I saw this morning. Kathy Sherman, top fan probably on the Witcher forum, leave his gorgeous curls alone. Catherine Lee says, let men with curly hair be natural. As she holds up her protest sign.
Oh boy.
Diane Villardell, I love him, but the haircut, nup nup. Okay, I guess that means nope nope. Jesse Wrinkle says, I love him so much, but I just can't with this haircut. He's throwing out weird Bill Paxton vibes somehow, but I can't think of the movie.
Oh boy.
And then Laura Jean, as a good friend on the forum, says straight up Weird Science Chet vibes, and I can kind of see it now.
A little bit, yeah.
Stevie Renee from Micah says, I take back what I said about Daddy Cav. Look, Daddy Cav, wow.
Oh boy.
Yes, it's a lot. Hey, I'm not judging. I okay, that's your thing. Daddy Cav. Wow, I'm not gonna call him that now. I'm gonna call Henry Cavill Daddy Cav now. That is like his new name. Daddy Cav looking good with any hair. And I think this is hilarious, TJ Seymour. I think you win of best comment on Facebook this week. TJ Seymour says Ivan Drago from Rocky IV called. He wants his hairstyle back.
That's funny.
Yeah. Shelly Ray, I'm getting Dolph Lundgren vibes. Yeah. And then Faye Neal, they're trying to confuse us after the silver wig. We have to stay strong. Faye, Stout Hun, because it's not a conspiracy. He's just cut his hair. What does this remind you of? Remember when PCAP?
Yeah, when the Thinker. Yeah, and he like shaved his head, but it was for the role because he had to wear that funky cap with the spark plugs or whatever. So yeah. But it grew back.
You're not gonna get a lot of sympathy from me and Michelle right now, ladies. I'm sorry. We lived through the fluff.
That's right.
The floof, not the fluff. The floof getting cut down to skin. So don't be complaining about his little like flat top Bill Paxton Ivan Drago style, okay?
Yeah.
But this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Yum 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 and more yummy. One woman thought, "Oh, this is delicious," and then Cavill himself has to come on. Yeah, right. It would be nice to take you out for some coffee someday. You seem like a nice person. I was browsing through when I came across your page. Just wanted to say hi, but I can't not seem to send you a friend request, so I had to leave this message here. It would be nice to have a nice friend like you, and feel free to message me direct on my Telegram link, honey. Yes, to quote Mike Myers and as Dr. Evil, right?
Yeah,
right. But anyway, so that seems to be more popular than Doctor Who.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's just hair. It'll grow back.
Roll. Thank you. It's Sonny Del Rio. Yes, get over it. I don't feel your pain, ladies. We had to deal with PCAP, and we still loved him anyway because we're fans, and that's what you do. So, I don't think he looks that bad. I mean, no, it's not my thing, but come on, it's just hair. That's right, Windology, right? And I love Daddy Cav. That's what I'm gonna call him now. I just love that. So anytime I talk about Henry Cavill, it's gonna be Daddy Cav.
Oh boy!
I just thought we needed a laugh, and I thought this was the most hilarious thing. It's been since me and Michelle have been PCAP stans for the longest. We can definitely relate to this, but sorry, no, your tears don't faze us.
Yeah,
So
for
this is
real.
the first article that I actually kind of question, because William Hartnell, like, there was no regeneration talked to. I mean, other than when he was leaving, he knew, but
Hmm.
William Hartnell predicted Doctor Who could go on forever. So, I guess they asked Carol Ann Ford, and she said that he had said that he predicted that Doctor Who would go on forever. Um, I don't know. I just don't know if I believe that. If he just, maybe he did say it, but it says when Doctor Who first hit screens in 1963, there was no telling how successful it would go on to be, and certainly no one could ever predicted it would still be airing 60 years later. Well, no one other than the first Doctor himself, William Hartnell, that is.
Hmm.
Looking back on the beginnings of the beloved sci-fi Carol Ann Ford, who played Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter and the first ever companion, recalled Hartnell's poignant comments about his future. So maybe he did. Bill used to say in the very beginning that it could go on forever. She exclusively tells Radio Times, because there's no reason for it not to, because the doctors can regenerate again and again and again, and they can go anywhere and do anything, so it wouldn't get stale. So she adds that the late Doctor Who actor, if only he were here now to enjoy it all, he could have absolutely loved the success of it. How people are so faithful to it, how they love it. It's extraordinary. In the past couple of days, I've received information from the BBC about where it's been sold, and it's incredible. One of the new places is Polynesia. So apparently Polynesia is getting Doctor Who. I didn't know they didn't have Doctor Who.
Wow.
For Ford, the bond Susan had with the Doctor very much continued off screen with her and Hartnell. She said it was very easy to slip into Susan's shoes because he did take on that grandfatherly role very seriously. I loved him very much. For me, he was a very sweet man and very easy man to work with, which is contrary for what other articles try to paint Hartnell as a racist, misogynist man, which I don't believe. He had a wicked sense of humor, which was great if you appreciate that humor, and a bit disarming as opposed if you didn't. So he was probably politically incorrect humor, which I would have loved him.
Yeah.
Right. Because everybody likes a little bit of inappropriate, politically incorrect humor. I'm sorry. Unless you're just, a prude. And that's what I'm getting from that. The actress who previously told Radio Times said how she'd love to see Susan return is no longer stranger to modern Who either, and can't wait to see Ncuti Gatwa take over the keys to the TARDIS, and to see Millie Gibson follow in her own footsteps as a companion Ruby Sunday. Thinking of her best advice for Gibson, she laughs, do lots of running exercise. I don't even know if it still applies now. Oh God, it does apply. But you certainly have to be ready for anything. You never know from one script to the next you're going to be asked to do.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think William Hartnell was probably a very nice man, contrary to some people trying to paint him as a very misogynistic man. I don't believe so at all. I think he was a very nice man. One so that would actually, if kids came up to him, he would speak to them as he was the Doctor, which Peter Capaldi also does. So,
yep.
So I don't know about him saying that, because at the time, when he probably first started, they had no idea that Doctor Who would be going on as many years as it's had. So I just don't know. But maybe they asked her, do you think, he really felt that way? And she probably said, yes, he feels that way. I think sometimes Radio Times likes to feed where they want the conversation to go, but
yeah,
maybe so. Archer Collins says that's what for me made the last scene of the docudrama, where Hartnell, as opposed to the Doctor, had a vision of Matt Smith just as he filmed his last scene. Yeah, I think that was a beautiful scene in Adventure in Time and Space, where that they inserted the Matt Smith Doctor.
Yeah,
which I don't know. Have you seen the documentary, Michelle?
I don't think I have. I think I have it. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, definitely a great watch. It really is. And David Bradley does a great job. I enjoy him as playing William Hartnell, playing, rather than him playing the actual first Doctor, personally.
Okay.
That's me. Hartnell was gasp, a product of his time. I wish people would get off the presentism. Yeah. Yeah, like you can't hold him to the same standards as what we have today. And
Right. I
I
mean,
wouldn't hold him to this. Go ahead.
well, he had to, if you look at him just strictly from the Doctor's point of view, here's this alien stole the TARDIS and he went to travel too, and he was actually learning about himself and who he would eventually become where we are today,
Yeah.
And he's changed so much
Yeah.
personality wise and everything. So
Yeah.
what I
mean,
have
it's
seen,
like people change.
I liked him. I really liked his character.
Yeah,
And how he
I
played him.
like the first Doctor. I think I like the way he was very he's like he acted like an old man. He
Mhm.
he was grumpy like an old man.
Right.
But yet he was kind as well. He
Yes.
wasn't like begging him to clean up the TARDIS,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a curmudgeon, but a lovable curmudgeon. And I was glad that Peter was very interested in kind of revisiting that side of the Doctor a little bit.
Right.
And I think that's personally what he was trying to do, but people just didn't get it because they want the Doctor to be fun all the time. And it's, he has all different personalities. So,
Right.
right.
Life's not all fun and roses, I mean, you got
No,
the good
it's
and
not.
the bad. So
Right. And you're not going to like something that everybody says or does. You're not all the time. You're not. You're going to get offended. You're going to get upset with somebody. It's just the way it is. So get over it, people.
Yeah.
The past, as they say, is another country. They do things differently there. Sorry, historian button push. No, I totally get it. Totally.
Yes.
So we're going to move on. Doctor Who confirms Neil Patrick Harris is playing a classic villain, which we already knew for months and months and months. It's like, I was like kind of debating if I should even put this article in there. I was like, but there's some people, believe it or not, that just are not in the know. Like when you're in a certain group, you just know all this stuff. And I go on forums and I'm like shocked that people don't know what we know. And it's because they don't live in this fandom world that we live in, especially if you have like a podcast, you start getting into the know about stuff all the time. So,
Yep.
so it's really difficult sometimes not to be that guy that says, you didn't know that. What's wrong with you? I don't want to be that person because I used to be the person on the other end. So, for that, Doctor Who has confirmed Neil Patrick Harris is playing a classic villain, which is the Celestial Toymaker. Very soon after Neil Patrick Harris was cast as the Doctor's latest nemesis in the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials, fans started theorizing that he was playing the Celestial Toymaker. For those unaware of the Toymaker, the character first appeared in 1966 and was seen separating William Hartnell's first Doctor from his companions and forcing them to play childish games before being they could return to the TARDIS. Now, after months of waiting, it has finally been confirmed. Harris is indeed playing the Toymaker, and this being the first character's first appearance in the long-running sci-fi show in 57 years. I have actually never listened to this episode, and the reason why I say listened is because it's missing.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to try to do that before November. It is very difficult for me. I don't know if you've ever tried to listen to reconstructions, which there are missing episodes and you just listen to them.
Oh, wow. No, I guess I haven't then.
Yeah. It's difficult for me. Very. Okay. I have listened to some, but it's difficult for me to concentrate because it's not like an audio drama because it's just audio from the.
Okay.
Yeah. And some, some people will use computer animations to kind of like, and I've watched those too, and I can't, I just can't. So, pray for me because I don't know. But yeah, I do want to do that. But Harris's role as the Toymaker was confirmed following the debut of the latest trailer for the 60th specials, which aired ahead of the first Strictly Come Dancing live show. It wasn't the only revealed in the trailer, which also confirmed that Gemma Redgrave is back as Kate Lethbridge Stewart, and that Donna will get her memories of the Doctor back for better or worse. I like this picture. I think it's cool.
I think he's going to do a great job.
I do too.
I really do.
And I like the fact that Neil Patrick Harris has not been a dick. Like,
Mhm.
this thing is like, I don't see a bunch of articles with him virtue signaling as much. I
Right.
don't know. Maybe there's some out there, but my God, this is how you act like an adult.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, he seems like more of a professional. I'm just, I'm more of a professional, not trying to bait people. He's just an actor that wants to do a good job in the role that he was given. That's all he cares about. That's what he knows people care about. People don't care if mommy and daddy upset you as a child and messed you up for a lifetime. We want to know about the show, and that's just the way it is. So I applaud him, as I haven't seen anything personally where he was virtue signaling every article or saying this is such a wonderful thing. That as a gay man, that I've been hired to play this role. Instead, he said, he just acts like everything's nothing to see here. I'm just playing a role. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see anything. Maybe somebody in the chat could point something out to me.
All I know
really
is when he was wearing the you see him dressed wearing the tux and the top hat, and he does that little wave like that. I just get Starship Trooper vibes, because he's kind of got that same look when he's looking at his ferret Cyrano, and he says, "Cyrano, go bug mom," and he sends the ferret, and you hear his mother scream in Starship Troopers.
So he was in I've never seen it.
Yes.
So he's
was
in Starship Troopers. I had no idea.
Yes.
I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, I think. We talked about the planet. We were talking about, I was asking Julie, what planets seem like the worst place to end up? And that was the Starship Trooper planet. We really decided on the alien ones were the worst.
Well, yeah.
Even though Dune looks like a giant butthole. I mean, we'd rather be there. At least they gave you drugs. So if you don't know what we're talking about, go watch last week's podcast.
Man.
Julie, she stepped in and basically was so nice to to listen to my spiel and my sci-fi stuff, even though she's not a big sci-fi fan. So thank you for that, Julie. But yeah, I think he looks great. I really do. I mean, honestly, of all the castings, it's one of the highlights. And I think a lot of people weren't sure. Like, I was even kind of like, I don't know. And then when you see him in action and how he just becomes this character, all that goes away. So again, he's professional. He knows how to conduct himself, which is, I applaud him for that. And the trailer also included another sneak peek at Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor, who will debut following David Tennant's return to the show when she's now playing the 14th Doctor. And then they talked about Mirren Margulies and Yasmin Finney again, because whatever. So Collider doesn't know shit. So I'm just going to tell you that right now. They really don't. This is one of those articles that I hate, because you're like, okay, wow, we're going to get some sort of like something, right? We're going to get something here. They don't give anything. It's just an advertisement for the Ncuti Gatwa era, really. We know, I mean, maybe for people that are not huge Doctor Who fans, this would be for them. They don't really tell you. There's no release window. It's 2024 sometime, and I saw a meme the other day, which is hilarious, with RTD like laughing maniacally in the background, and it said Doctor Who will air in like February, and had all the months mixed together into 1 month.
Wow.
Yeah. So nobody knows, and they seriously don't know. It's spring 2024 is where it's predicted. So we know who the Doctor is, most people. Again, I try not to do that, because I know there might be people that like, they don't know about Doctor Who, and they may want to know. But Ncuti Gatwa is going to be the 15th Doctor. Millie Gibson is going to be Ruby Sunday as a companion. It's going to be on Disney Plus, BBC. It's still going to air it, I believe. And there's no trailer. So yeah, I just put this article in here to say, look, when you see this stuff, just don't even pay attention, because you're going to sit there and spend a lot of time reading this stuff. And it's just stuff to promote his era, just to get people. And it actually makes me angry when I'm like, where's the answers? You promised it at the top and there's none. So it's a clickbaity article from Collider. Shame on you. Most people that like Doctor Who are looking at it, they probably know. But then again, they might be doing it for people that don't know. And it just goes on to say how Finney's character is confirmed. Their character in Doctor Who will be trans, though. So that has been confirmed. He will not be pretending to actually being a girl. He will be a trans. So, yeah. So that's been confirmed, and I'm sure that yeah. So that is going to probably ruffle a lot of feathers, and people are going to be concerned about, there's going to be trans issues discussed, because it's going to be known that the character is trans. But we'll see. I know that Yasmin Finney is going to be part of series 14 as well. So and they don't know shit. They don't know what this is going to be about. Really, there has been some leaked photos on the Galactic Gals. I don't know if they're leaked photos. I'm not sure where John got them, but it shows Shooty in a kilt.
I've seen that.
Yeah. And
which, if he's Scottish, he's entitled to do that. So
yeah, if he lives in Scotland and that's where he calls home, then he has a right, and that's fine. I know I made a joke, because I was just like, I was like, he just can't wait to get in a skirt. He's like, yeah, no problem. I'll wear it. No problem at all. I just can't wait. So, because, he's just got to be in a dress every 5 seconds. So I'm sure that was no problem at all. I will put this kilt on. So, yeah, I'm sure there was no trying to like finagle him to get in a skirt. But and of course it says, as is customary with Doctor Who, most plot information is kept tightly under wraps until launch. However, the promotional images released so far do give fans an insight into the potential setting for some of the episodes. Ncuti Gatwa and company will have been dressed in 60s attire, posing in the halls and grounds of Regency Manor, and even dressed for what looks like a Western-style shootout. With events of the 60s ready to take up the foundations of the show, Ncuti Gatwa's 14th will more than likely have pick up the pieces with adventures in time and space guaranteed to do the trick. Yeah. And this other article is the same thing. It's just basically season 14. Ncuti Gatwa's only season as the Doctor. He's been signed on for 2. But there's a lot of people saying that they don't think he'll even last a season. Or at least 2, but a lot of people think, okay, it could be 3, because that's just really the standard.
Yeah.
I think it'll be 3. I don't really think he's going to leave prematurely. I think he's going to ride it out like all of it. I think that's just a standard. Mm-hmm. Unless something happens, of course, like Christopher Eccleston, it says here, which had problems with the production staff. So unless that happens, I would think we just buckle up and know that Ncuti Gatwa was probably going to be the 15th Doctor for 3 seasons. But he's basically said he's behind it. Murray Gold's back. We've talked about that thousands of times. Yay. That's a highlight.
Yes.
So I don't really know who Dylan Holmes Williams is. Mark Tondrai or Julianne Robinson is. Bridgerton. She's in Bridgerton. I don't know if she's in it, but she's part of, I guess, the production team. Ben Chessel and Jamie Donahue. I don't have any clue who these people are, but they've all been confirmed to direct episodes in the upcoming season, while writing headed by Russell T Davies. Excitingly, Davies recently noted during a radio interview that episode 4 is one of the greatest things he's ever made. So episode 4, I guess, is season 1 of season 14 is going to be epic.
Okay.
So we should all prepare ourselves for that. Effie, prepare yourself. I think that's what we're either Effie's going to be very happy, in a good way, or Effie's gonna bend over and have somebody like, use the lube, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We don't know. So when I say brace yourself, Effie, it could go either way. Brace yourself, Effie, for the time of your life, or brace yourself, Effie, for not the time of your life.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and I'm getting less and less excited, as you can tell. I'm just like, whatever. I'm tired of these articles that don't tell me anything. I don't want all the details, but I want something to get me excited, and you're just not doing it, RTD. You're just not. You announcing some actor, and then the actor goes off, and they go on a tirade about how everybody's homophobic that doesn't agree with your casting, or transphobic, or whatever, or any kind of racist or anything, does not get me excited for the show. What gets me excited for the show is you're giving me a little taste of a little bit of the plot, not the complete plot, but look, this is what you have to look forward to.
Right.
This is what, I mean, having endless articles of people virtue signaling does not get me excited for a show.
Same. Just show me some planets. Don't give me all the other crap. I just want to be entertained, like I've said all along. I don't need all that.
I think some of the fan base does, but those fan base, they're not like, they were not fans. They're not old time fans. They're not fans of the plot. They're not fans of the good story. They're just fans of who is cast and who's represented in the show. That's all they care about. So I don't even like why their opinion and why you should be like, they're a very small percentage of the complete fan base. You should be like talking about more, casting that isn't like Neil Patrick Harris, who's not running around talking about how wonderful that is and how this is a great time to be a Doctor Who fan because we're being represented. He is just doing, he's just saying, it's great to be, it's an honor, but he's not like, oh, look at me, I'm a gay man and I can act, and look at me, pat myself on the back. I was mistreated as a child, and that's why I'm gay, and blah, blah, blah. It was all my parents' fault. I mean, I get tired of this shit over and over again being shoved down my throat. So, RTD, please just stop. Just get a hold on your people. Just try. Just, or get a PR person that knows what the fuck they're doing, man. That's all I'm saying. That's I haven't said a whole lot because I'm just waiting. But, when you keep doing that, it's like, do you really think people are going to look? I'll watch it, but not everyone is like me. Not everyone is like as forgiving as me and going to try to give you a chance and past all this other crap. There's a lot of fans just won't, just because they've been insulted and they won't connect to it.
Yeah. Just if the actor or actress's sexuality should never, ever come into play. They should be hired solely because they can act, period.
Right.
Period.
But it's all about representation, all about what my background is. And let me give you this article about how many times I've been bullied. And I'm not saying that people that bully people should be praised or it's a good thing. No, it's a horrible thing.
Right.
You're not hired to talk about your role in Doctor Who, about you being bullied. You're hired to talk about Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And what you're going to bring to the table.
Yeah.
But when you sit there and do article after article insulting your own fan base, calling them trans and homophobes and all this stuff, it's like that doesn't do anything but just turn people off. And even if you're not, the fact that you keep on and say, I have dealt with so much, and here I am in a hotel having someone serve me caviar, and I am so like, I'm such a victim. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's for real.
Anyway. Yeah. So that's my rant of the day. Fuck you. If you're going to sit there in a hotel room and talk to me about racism and transphobia and homophobia when the average watcher that watches your show can't hardly pay their bills, and you're in there talking about what a victim you are at this imaginary whatever in your head that's telling you people hate you, I have no sympathy. I really don't. It's great that you have a like you you've made a career for yourself. That's wonderful. Talk about that. Talk about what you can bring to the role. Anyway.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So at this point, Shooty's not winning any points for me as a person. Now that, however, if he can play the Doctor right and change my mind about his casting, I'll love you as a Doctor. I'll think you're an insufferable prick as a person, though.
Right.
Just saying. So Doctor Who's Alex Kingston on Hiding River Song's biggest spoiler. This is actually a better article than the last two articles I just presented because it's just a lot of nothing. So Alex Kingston wants everybody to know that she's not a companion. She's a wife, which I agree with. She really was. She wasn't necessarily a companion. And she's completely right. I would agree. River Song is unlike any other Doctor Who character, first introduced in 2008 Silence in the Library and spanning multiple eras in one of the most complex and glorious timelines to ever grace the show. She's the most incredible character to play, and certainly when the role was offered to me, I was obviously no idea of the journey that she and I would be undertaking, because obviously in the very first Silence in the Library story, she dies. Kingston exclusively tells RadioTimes.com. So I just thought it was a 2-episode job. Little did I know, I also didn't really know the personalities of Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat. And if I had, maybe I would have an inkling that there might have been more than this. She's like that there's one particular scene that many fans will never forget. An emotional episode 6, A Good Man Goes to War. River reveals to Karen Gillan's Amy and Arthur Darville's Rory that she's their daughter.
Yeah.
Writing a plot twist. I was shocked the first time I saw that.
Me too. Yep. I wasn't expecting
I didn't see
that.
it. I mean, maybe other people saw it coming. I mean, maybe I'm a little slow on the uptake, but I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, her character really, really grew on me.
Yeah, you weren't a fan of her
first. No, not at first.
I don't think.
But then, as her storyline progressed, and by the time we saw her with Peter, it's like, oh wow, this is awesome. You know. So you didn't like her with Tennant, or you just didn't like her with Smith? Just didn't like her with Tennant at all. I guess because maybe I didn't know enough about the character. You know, she knew more than I knew, and it's like, damn it, that's not right. You know, I'm supposed to know more than her. So yeah,
I was intrigued, but I think that they overused her with Smith a lot.
Yeah.
And she kind of like, to me, in Silence in the Library, she seemed like a very sympathetic character. But when she was with Smith, she kind of became insufferable.
Yeah.
And I started, of course, in The Husbands of River Song. Of course, I kind of fell in love with her again.
Yeah, I laughed through that episode. That was a great episode.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I do kind of agree with some fans. I think she just overstayed her welcome a little bit. And she's a great character. I just think I do prefer her with Peter Capaldi, though.
I think she's definitely more his equal, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, she knew before anybody did. So she said she didn't want the other actors to know, because I think he didn't want their performance in any way to be altered with that knowledge. And also in a funny sort of way, in the episodes that we had filmed prior, I didn't know either. So I guess she was brought on later on and said, okay, by the way, you're their daughter. But I don't, I mean, there's a lot of people that want her to come back. What do you think about that?
Well, boy. How would they even do that? Wow. I definitely wouldn't want to see her with Jodie.
Because it would be a past River.
Yeah, it would have to be. I don't know. Maybe she'd come back and tell Shooty, what the hell did you do? You went wrong somewhere, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that would probably go over well with us.
Yeah.
But what's wrong with you? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, according to this article, that she's basically in Big Finish. She's basically acted with every doctor that's living. But I don't know if that's true, because I don't think Jodie Whittaker does Big Finish. So as far as I know, unless
I
she's
have no
infiltrated
idea.
that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But Rebecca Gold says, "Hey, Ian, Tom Ellis should have been the Doctor. He would have bringing the U.S. crowd and the Brits. But no, we can't have a white male being a hero these days. I have to agree. I was not happy with Shudi's casting at all. I thought it was a bad move on RTD's part to do that, especially too soon. If you're gonna do it, it wasn't the right time, I don't think. But yes, that was my choice as well, Tom Ellis." Which would have been cool because he was in Doctor Who as well. So also plays Lucifer.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah. I wish it would have been so, but it wasn't. But no, I don't think they should bring River back. I think they need to let it go. I think that in the Husbands of River song, I think that was a perfect ending for her.
I do. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I wanted to. I loved to see, I loved that the last scenes of that episode so much, and it was so heartbreaking but so bittersweet, and it was well acted by both of them. And
yes,
again, I don't just let it die. I mean, can we just retire some companions and let's let them, they've had their time, and let's I don't want Amy Pond to come back. I don't want a bunch of companions to come back. Let's move forward. I'm kind of that way.
Yeah. New companions,
I don't know if I even want Clara
adventure.
coming back.
Yeah,
right. That's the whole point. Once the companion or the character knows all the things about the Doctor, it doesn't become quite as engaging to me.
Yeah.
But that's just me. So here's the other article, which I think is hilarious. Stephen Moffat attempts to swerve question of Doctor Who return. And he flats out saying he's not coming back. I've heard this rumor, and for whatever reason, I thought it was confirmed he was coming back, and then I heard he wasn't. But basically, he's saying that he was asked on the show. What show was it? Newsnight presenter Christy Wark wasted no time in questioning Moffat about the series, asking if he ever go back in some shape or form to Doctor Who. What?
Huh.
I'll wake up tomorrow in Cardiff? Moffat quizzed before laughing and stating, "I can't believe I'm being asked that on Newsnight." He continued, it's really, very recent that I quit Doctor Who. Look, I absolutely adore Doctor Who, but it's the most wonderful show, but it's very safe hands with Russell T Davies. Wark interrupted Moffat to claim that he's not answering her question, repeating whether he returned in some form. Moffat responded, "Am I a politician? Do I have to answer your questions?" Wark rephrased the question and said, asking whether Moffat feels the pull of the series, to which he answered, "Oh, yeah, well, I'll always stay in touch with Russell and ask him what he's up to and so on. Of course I do. That doesn't mean I'm dashing off to Cardiff on the train tomorrow, or unless I am." The open-ended final answer has left fans curious. Oh, God, why did they do that? Because you know what's going to happen, Moffat? Everybody in the fandom's going to go, "That means he's coming back." And they're going to drive me crazy.
That's not what it means, though. I mean, it could be either or.
No,
it's his choice.
People take that as, it's like if Peter Capaldi says, "Or if I am, I might." He doesn't do that. He just tells you, "No, I'm not going to be in it." God, I wish Moffat would stop poking the bear. Stop. It just, and look, I know I could scroll past, but seeing fans go, "He's coming back." He's no, he's probably not coming back. Unless it's confirmed by the BBC, he's probably not coming back. And still then, shut the fuck up.
He's doing other things, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like saying the Dallas Cowboys are going to be Super Bowl champions this year. Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah. Right. So
yeah.
Stop it, Moffat. Stop it. It's not funny anymore. It's really not. You're driving me insane. Because people I understand their speculations. It's a nice thing. We all do it. But it becomes so insane. And we'll talk about insane theories here in a little bit.
Yeah, well, Gary made a comment. He said Moffat won't be back as a showrunner, but of course he'll write a script or two. Yeah, he probably would.
But here's my thing. Why would he come back after he was the showrunner just to be a lowly writer?
Well, Yeah, it's actually a good question too.
Because Moffat doesn't seem like the kind of person now, even though he hasn't. Okay, I watched Inside Man. It wasn't good. Okay, I couldn't even get the first season. That's a Moffat thing. I was really excited about watching it. Terrible.
Huh.
So, but still, I just don't think Moffat could go back to being just a regular writer. I just don't. I think he's been in charge and he likes being in charge. And I think that'd be like, he would have to be like with RTD and it'd have to be like them working together on the same level.
Okay.
I mean, that's
That
my
makes sense.
opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But he might contribute something. He might say, "Here, have this. I'll bestow this on you. I'll be kind." And everyone will go, "Oh, Moffat, you're so wonderful." And I'll be like, "Look, I like Moffat. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all this stuff, but it's just like sometimes I swear some of this worship just gets on my nerves so bad. Coming from a person that worships Peter Capaldi, and I'm just telling you. But here's the screen rant theory that we were talking about in Discord yesterday. That I got a little bit like upset about because I'm thinking, please don't let this be so, because if this was so, it'd be worse than Timeless Children. And then Gary brought me back down to earth, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's probably not plausible. And then Jason had to bring me back down to earth, and thinking this is probably not going to happen. But I will say this: people thought the Timeless Children was a stupid theory until it wasn't.
Oh boy!
Just saying. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm just saying. But I don't think, because we were talking in the green room, I don't think that because Jodie Whittaker's involved, I don't think that RTD is going to touch retconning anybody.
Yeah.
Only because she's involved. Doctor Who theory explains the real reason Jodie Whittaker regenerated into David Tennant. So basically, this is the theory about the real reason that Jodie Whittaker regenerated into David Tennant in Doctor Who is backed up by expanded media and trailer for the 60th anniversary. It's backed up, people. It's really backed up. You know, people are backed up from not being able to shit too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's the backup. The regeneration scene at the end of The Power of the Doctor was the first time the viewers had seen the Doctor regenerate into a previous body. Tom Baker's curator in The Day of the Doctor confirmed that it was possible, but the actual transition had never been depicted on screen until David Tennant's return as the 14th Doctor. Now, this old favorite is heading for a union with Donald Noble and battle with the Toymaker. So, Doctor Who is teasing her problem with the 14th Doctor's timeline. So, because they have nothing better to do, watching the recent trailer Doctor Who 60th anniversary special, as viewers could be forgiven for thinking that it was a 2008 all over again. David Tennant and Catherine Tate are back together and fearlessly confronting a brand new threat. At the start of the trailer, the Doctor explains Doctor's predicament to Charlie Ann Bingham. If she remembers me, she will die. So what happens next? A spaceship crashes right in front of her. However, that's strictly true. What happens next was that the Master inhabited the bodies of everyone on Earth and attempted to capture Donna on Christmas Day at the end of time. As it's a trailer, the omission of the events at the end of time could merely be a pacing choice. However, season 2 of the official audio drama Doctor Who Redacted, which is a bunch of shit that's like, it's non-canon, woke shit to shuffle in diversity because they can't get enough of it in the Chibnall Era. I mean, the Chibnall Era was bad, but Redacted is like woke city. Further implies that something is wrong with the 14th Doctor's timeline. Trying to contact the Doctor for help with the situation on Earth, Cleo, Charlie Craggs, have no idea who this character or person is informed that nobody can reach the Time Lord because of an issue with their personal timeline. Maybe he's ghosting you.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't like your ass, Cleo. Maybe he thinks you're an idiot. That combined with the seamless way that the 2023 specials appear to carry on from Doctor Who Season 4 suggests that someone or something has meddled with the 10th Doctor's timeline. Theory. The Toymaker changed time so the 10th Doctor never regenerated. Here we go with the retconning.
Yeah.
And the events of the end of time have been removed from the Doctor's memory as hinted then it suggests a major alteration to their timeline. If that's the case, then it's likely that the Toymaker has used their celestial powers to ensure the 10th Doctor's regeneration never happened. It could certainly explain why Jodie Whittaker costume changed into an updated David Tennant outfit during the regeneration. Let me just stop them there. The reason why David Tennant just didn't have her outfit on was because Russell T Davies didn't want to make fun of trans people. That's exactly why. He didn't want to make fun of it. He thought it would be ridiculous, a straight man wearing a woman's clothing, and he didn't want to play it for laughs. That's exactly why. It has nothing to do with that's the reason why. It would certainly explain why Jodie Whittaker's costume changed into an updated David Tennant outfit during the regeneration. Maybe while the 13th Doctor was battling the Master for her lives, the Toymaker was putting the finishing touches to his plan, casting a divergence in the timeline at the point of regeneration. David Tennant constantly updated his costume throughout the 10th Doctor era. It makes sense, therefore, that if he had remained the Doctor for the past 13 years, then his costume would have gone through several updates. The blue overcoat and checked waistcoat, it sits neatly along the brown and blue pinstripe suits and long beige coat from its original tenure. If the 10th Doctor didn't regenerate, then there's some troubling implications for Donna's family, more specifically her grandfather. And so it goes on to say the 10th Doctor regenerated after saving Wilf from his fatal radiation poisoning after he became trapped inside a nuclear booth. A clip from the trailer for Doctor Who's 2023 special sees the Doctor in another small chamber, banging on the walls and screaming, "Why did it have to be this?" It's a disturbing callback to the moment of selfish rage at having to sacrifice his life to save Wilf, suggesting a link between the 10th Doctor's final heroic action, combined with the threat to Donna's life. If she ever remembers him, perhaps the Toymaker is taunting the Doctor by showing him the true cost of staying inside the body of his old favorite. So basically, what they're kind of getting at is this little inflammatory theory is why RTD retconning Moffat and Chibnall is a good idea. So I don't think it's a good for sure. Because as much as I hate Whittaker, I still love Peter Capaldi, and I just don't think this is going to happen. I could be wrong because a lot of people didn't think the Timeless Children was going to happen either, and it did. So there's that part of my brain that's going, what if? But I really don't think the only reason is because Whittaker. I think that'd be the only thing that would stop that. I don't know. I know you had some very very choice words to say.
Yeah,
yesterday in Discord.
Yeah, I'm not happy. It's basically just leave it alone, because you got to have, you need Smith and you need Capaldi. That's how the storyline went. If you erase that, you're going to change a lot of shit. You won't have River getting her ending for sure. Like she did in the Husbands of River song. You won't have Amy and Rory if Smitty's not there.
Matt Smith was a very popular Doctor. I just can't see RTD doing that. But and if he does, he's an idiot. I mean, and then it makes him, if he did that, here's the thing, and I don't look, I'm not saying this is a theory. This is not like the confirmed or anything. This is a crazy theory from Mark Donaldson from Screen Rant. This is all this is. This is something so we can just kind of discuss the possibilities if that was be a good thing, bad thing, whatever. I think it would mean he was a gigantic narcissist, because that would just mean he would only save his parts of Doctor Who. And that's so narcissistic, man. My Doctor Who is the only good Doctor Who, and that's what it would be saying. And I just don't see that this being how it is. I think this is wishful thinking on Mark Donaldson's part. Apparently he has something against Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi as well. And he's actually a Jodie Whittaker fan from what I understand. So I'm not sure, why do you want to, I understand she sucked, but I don't want the good doctors to go with her just because of her.
Right.
But I don't think that's the reason. I don't think he likes the Moffat and Moffat eras at all. But he's an idiot. I just think this is kind of an idiot. I mean, it's plausible. It's a plausible story. It's not. It's just a bad idea. I mean, it can be a plausible theory, still be a bad idea, and that's just a bad idea. You know,
Yeah,
you
I can't. I'm
screw
hoping
doctors
he doesn't do it. Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't do it. It'd just be a really shitty idea. I mean, that there's so much good storytelling that you want to get rid of. No, it just doesn't make any sense.
Rebecca Gold says, "Look, everyone, they screwed Doctor Who. Do you really think Disney and the BBC will not add the message to the show since their companies are work beyond belief?" Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not saying there won't be some wokeness to it. I've never really actually said that. And just to say, and I've told many people, Doctor Who ended for me in 2017. If we get anything good out of this after that, great. We didn't with Chibnall, but if we get anything that's watchable, great. I really don't feel like, I feel like this is a new thing, and it's not. I don't even consider it like our Doctor Who, like what we experienced for, what people experience for 50 plus years, 50 years. I don't think this is anything like it.
Yeah.
I would be happy if I could be proven wrong that it's even better and it's great, but I don't see that happening. I see it being watchable at best, and it may be enjoyable on that level as you're just watching a show and you're not so deep into it. Like we have been. I really felt like, for me, Shooty's not going to live up to Peter Capaldi. I already know that.
Right.
I mean, for me personally, that to me, when you have the best, it should have ended at the best. And that's how I feel. And if we get something out of it, and I get some good stories out of it, great. If I don't, I'll go back watching what I watched before.
Right. Right.
But this ruffled my feathers, I'll be honest, because I was like, man, he better not.
Yeah, basically, like, fuck you, RTD. Don't change that shit just to suit what you want, and to suit the wokeness of all the people that want it woke. Just leave it. Just tell us a story.
he would be taking a gigantic crap on the Jodie Whittaker fans as well. And I say that's why I don't think it's a plausible. It's plausible that it's going to happen because of her. Yeah, he's not going to do that. He's not going to touch that. He's going to ignore her stories, but he's not going to retcon her. Now if it was just he was retconning the Moffat era or something, yeah, I might go, well, it's possible, but because she's involved, it's the only thing that is kind of making me think, he's not going to touch that. But it's fun to speculate, and it's fun to figure out and get your feathers ruffled every once in a while. Makes you feel like you're alive,
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So if that's the story the RTD is setting out to tell with Doctor Who's 60th anniversary special, then it's a perfect takedown of fandom and nostalgia. See, that's that's the line in this article yesterday, right there, that really cooked my goose. Because if you don't have fandom nostalgia, you don't have fucking Doctor Who. And Peter Capaldi basically said that a while, that Doctor Who wouldn't be around if it wasn't for fans.
Right.
Old fans.
Yeah, in any science fiction universe, whether it be Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Red Dwarf, the fans are what make the show, because the fans keep wanting more and more and more.
The fans are the ones that keep it alive. If you're not giving and look, people like nostalgia. I mean, they just do. I mean, look, I watched Picard season 3. I'm not a huge Next Gen fan. I like Next Gen, but I'm not like, oh my God, it's some people really have this nostalgia about it. Season 3 was boring to me, but I understood why it was popular. Like people, they want nostalgia. Nostalgia gives you warm feelings. It's what people want. Who cares? What is so wrong with fandom and nostalgia? At least the nostalgia part.
Right.
It's like, that's what keeps fandoms going, is the nostalgia part. Because the Star Wars wouldn't keep going if it wasn't fans that love the original Luke Skywalker. It wouldn't have gone on for as long as it's had without fans like that. So whatever.
True.
Whatever, dude. So we had, from the files Discord, we had some comments that I'm gonna read from Retro Doc. As in a previous Doctor Who trailer, Donna pondered why his face come back, while the Doctor appeared horrified to recognize their own teeth at the end of power. And his response was, all of which suggests that something has gone very badly wrong with either a regenerative process or perhaps even the Doctor's timeline. No, and he responded, wrong. It could have been just manipulation by Doogie Howser. Yeah, that's probably what it is. It's like sometimes the curtains are just blue. There's just no really deep reason for it. They're just blue. And then Mark Donaldson vomited forth. However, season 2 of the official audio drama Doctor Who Redacted further implies that something is wrong with the 14th Doctor's timeline. Retro Doc replied with wahaha, as if that woke pile of crap will have any bearing on anything anywhere. Yeah. If the events of the end of time have been removed from the Doctor's memory as hinted, that line from the trailer he's using as justification for this is clearly not a strict chronology, but a general comment. Doesn't apply anything about memories being removed. And then if the 10th Doctor didn't regenerate, then there are some troubling implications for Donna's family, more specifically her grandfather. And then there's speculation that Donna won't survive the specials, which he wrote, in his opinion, is nonsense. Mm-hmm. But if RTD is dumb enough to kill Wilf off, he'll have to locate to a secret island in Borneo to escape fans out for his blood. And I agree.
Yep.
I agree. So we have a new little section, a new little part in the presentation from our field correspondent, Dick Rattenborough. Who is doing a report on Doctor Who fans this week, and I'd like to play it for you. So we have some breaking news now. So here it is.
Okay.
Thanks, Dick, for sending this in to us.
Hardcore Doctor Who fans across the internet completely lost their minds this week after a new trailer for the show's upcoming 60th anniversary specials revealed the return of David Tennant as the Doctor. While most normal people just saw the trailer and thought, oh neat, David Tennant is back as the Doctor, Doctor Who mega fans immediately dove into intense speculation and fan theories, their brains utterly melting under the pressure. The 14th Doctor having the same face as the 10th Doctor can only mean one thing. The entire timeline of the show has been altered, screamed one fan on Reddit, his face turning beet red. Clearly the Toymaker has used his celestial powers to erase the events of the end of time so that 10 never regenerated. This retcons everything from the Moffat and Chibnall eras, praise RTD. He then collapsed on the floor, foaming at the mouth. Other fans took to Twitter to angrily demand explanations, tweeting complex charts mapping out the Doctor's revised timeline and debating which showrunner's era was now considered canon. I've rewatched the trailer frame by frame and analysed every micro-expression on David Tennant's face, said one fan. His brief look of horror in the second half of the trailer is clear proof that he senses something is wrong with the timeline. There's no other possible explanation. The rabid speculation even extended to wild theories about bringing back other classic characters, with fans desperately hoping RTD might retcon the tragic fates of Adric, Chameleon and Dodo Chaplet. If the Toymaker can alter the timeline, surely he can save my beloved Adric, one fan pleaded. Bring back Matthew Waterhouse, you cowards. At press time, local hospitals reported a huge influx of Doctor Who fans being treated for dangerous nerd overload, with symptoms including heavy sweating, intense hyperventilation, and rambling incoherent theories about wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Thanks, Dick. Thanks for that report. Appreciate that.
That's
I think that was very effective, and you can't laugh at yourself. I don't know what to say. But yeah, bring back Matthew Waterhouse, you cowards. That was probably my favorite in that report. Yeah. So that was our breaking news segment. So
oh my goodness. Yeah, tune in next week. Alien Autopsy.
Yeah, now we gotta make it even better.
Oh wow.
All right. So the next story is another. I don't know. I don't know if this is true. William Shatner's accused. I like those words, accused. That they do these articles like they're trying to get people like saying, "Oh my God, there's drama. There's some drama." I believe it was all planned. Star Trek actor William Shatner accused legend Leonard Nimoy for playing a cunning trick to cement his legacy in the franchise. Wonder if George Takei wrote this article.
Oh God.
It'd be way worse. William Shatner is the actor who's best known for his portrayal of James T. Kirk, the captain of the starship USS Enterprise in the Star Trek franchise movies. Apart from starring in countless movies and TV shows, he is popularly known for this uniqueness that he brings to his every movie role and was highly appreciated for his workplace efforts, especially in his Star Trek days. However, William Shatner has accused his co-star Leonard Nimoy of playing a cunning trick to cement his legacy in the franchise, writes George Takei. Even though the two of them were very close friends, they had a very complicated relationship and would even quarrel over things. Really? You mean like people?
Yeah.
Although his accusation was never not verified, Shatner's accusations may be motivated for his personal feelings towards Nimoy. William Shatner opposed the concept of murdering Spock, but the producers finally overruled him. He asserted that Nimoy's choice to have Spock killed was made out of self-interest and a desire to enhance his legacy. The actor shared many things while attending an interview with USA Today and even claimed that, "I believe it was all planned. I now believe Nimoy and Harvey had cooked this up. I suddenly realized that, as well as many other people, had been taken in by the death of Spock. Leonard was so marvelous at working the territory that he got a directing job out of it. I was thinking my good friend Nimoy is in essence saying bye to the whole part. No one told me they were thinking otherwise, but I would have enjoyed being in on it. I get the secrecy, but it's all great." Yeah. Star Trek fans were divided by Shatner's remarks, with some supporting him and others praising Nimoy's choice. It's also important to remember that Nimoy faced criticism for his choice to have Spock murdered in the Star Trek movie. Decision infuriated many fans, and some even murdered is such a harsh word. I mean, yes, he was murdered, but
yeah, but he died saving the ship. He died a hero's death.
Yeah,
I mean.
it just sounds
yeah.
Like he was murdered. The decision infuriated many fans, and some even voted to boycott the movie. Nevertheless, the movie ended up being a critical and financial hit, and it's currently regarded as one of the finest franchise movies ever created. And I agree, it is.
Yes.
But I don't know. I think that's like, really, you're just trying to stir up shit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the chat because I'm curious to what everyone thought about the news report. Because I think we're a little behind. So like the comments don't coming out, as much. But theory, the falling spaceship in the trailer is actually the freighter with Adric on it. He'll make a surprise cameo as a smoldering corpse. He's like, I'm not a mega fan, but a semi mega fan. Yeah, semi mega fan. Let's see. Hi, just all got in. Been watching rugby for the last few weekends. That's cool. Let's see. Because the whole woke progressive movement is not just about pushing their own agenda, it's about destroying everything in else's people's value. Yes, Spock wasn't murdered. He sacrificed his life.
Right.
Yeah.
Spock would be hard to kill anyway. I mean, geez. 2 times the strength of a human. Would you want to try to murder Spock?
Old Friction says, new RTD era who won't come across close to the classics, but it could be very watchable. It could be awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
It is. It's up in the air. It really is. It's an entertaining theory, but that's all it is. It'll never happen. Yeah, I don't see. I mean, it's like when you start thinking about it, like deeply thinking. Well, first of all, they're not going to retcon Jodie Whittaker. There's no way.
Yeah.
So the next article is another. I tried to find much more positive articles because like the news, there's nothing ever positive. But Jonathan Frakes didn't seem to like how Star Trek Strange New Worlds was portrayed. And the reason is because people, and I know you like Discovery,
I do,
which is totally fine. We can all like something that other people don't like. But what Jonathan Frakes is trying to say is, it's not okay to praise Strange New Worlds and hate Discovery, which I think is ridiculous. If you don't like something, why would you want to heap praise on something you don't care for? So he had a problem with that the producers listened and went back to mostly classic formula for the first season, belting at banger after banger. And while the second season is a bit rockier, producers deciding to do sillier and sillier ideas is still the best received series so far. So Jonathan Frakes is not happy with the idea that the fans weren't happy with Discovery. So Strange New Worlds was created out of their unhappiness, is what I'm gathering from the article, which is bizarre to me because you can't make someone like something they just don't like.
Right. Like I don't like Deep Space Nine. I never liked it. I don't watch it. For those that love it, great.
I like it. So
yeah.
Exactly. So I don't understand why he's so upset that the show that you're getting paid to direct.
Yeah.
I don't think he's necessarily upset about that per se. I just think he's upset that people don't like Discovery, and out of people not liking Discovery, Strange New Worlds is created to appease the old Trek fans, which, again, bread and butter, you have to please. I mean, it's fine if you want this other thing, but understand you need to please the fan base that made your show popular. And we're not going away. Eventually, we will go away. We'll all die off, and then people that love Discovery will be complaining about the future Star Trek, and now it's not like Discovery. And I'm sure that will happen at some point. But yeah, I just think that's really it's like, I don't understand that logic. Maybe somebody can explain to me how that logic makes sense. But Retro Doc says, Mr. Frakes, learn how to sit in the chair properly, then we'll talk. I love Riker. Jonathan Frakes is obviously a little bit special in the brain when it comes to politics, and I'm not trying to be mean. He's touched a little bit in the brain about some of his logical things about how he thinks all fans should love everything. We don't. We have preferences, and well spotted. The praise was a slap in the face of the crap that came before it. And I don't think Strange New Worlds is perfect. It's definitely not original Star Trek. What is? But I enjoy it much more than Discovery. You like Discovery, that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
And like Retro Docs like DS9, some people like Voyager better. I just think that there's just more things to worry about, Jonathan, is if we don't like it or somebody likes something or doesn't, it's totally fine.
Right.
Just be respectful and people will be respectful back. If you can't be respectful when you insult somebody with inflammatory comments. And to me, this seemed kind of inflammatory, but just me. I mean, I'll still enjoy watching you. I just think I don't understand that logic.
Yeah.
But he says that he may not be happy about it, but that doesn't make how it was praised any less true. And he agrees that Strange New World was better, and then it was good. And I'm glad he sees that. But he just feels like it's like a slap on the back and in the cheek because, not everyone's going to love what you do. It's like I can put something out and I think everyone's going to love it. And they're just going to focus on what, I think is great. And then they don't. But I'm not, I'm not going to insult them like, well, something wrong with you because you don't like it. Like, no, it just didn't resonate with somebody.
Right.
That happens,
Yeah, not everything is going to.
So I know you might be happy about this, but Star Trek 4 writer confirms next movie is still on the tracks.
I keep hearing that, and I'll believe it when I see it.
Right, and a lot of people are saying that. this is also from Collider, who's has a history of baiting. And I didn't even think they were even going to make another movie after Beyond. I thought it was done.
I thought they were going to do like one more, but I don't know.
I mean, don't you
what
think
kind of
that like
story.
Chris Pine, not that he's old, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like a lot of people, to me, like I didn't mind the first movie and the second movie. I didn't mind them really.
Mhm.
I know people didn't like Into Darkness because it was like they felt like it was a ripoff of Wrath of Khan. But I didn't have a problem with any of them. There really are reboots. That's what they are.
Yeah.
And so that would make sense if they're kind of doing that. But I'm like, I feel like it's the actual desire for it is kind of past. I know you probably would, you'd be into it maybe.
I would. I'd watch it just because
But
I like Star Trek, period,
Right. But I just don't
Um,
know, like because we have Strange New Worlds and other Star Trek vehicles that it would, I don't know, maybe it would. But for me, it's like, I feel like it's a little late. Like, I feel like that they should have done this about 6 or 7 years ago.
yeah. I was going to say, yeah. Because
But
now the actors are all older, and so I don't know. I don't know.
But apparently part of it is because it switched, producers, or like they're just not sure, like somebody stepped away from the project and then they got somebody else. So I don't know, like I feel like it's one of those things where like they talk about it for years and years and it just never comes to fruition. Like I honestly never thought we would get another Highlander movie. They've been talking about doing a Highlander reboot for ages. Like
Yeah.
ages. And actually it seems like we're getting, more news of it now. So it's a possibility that it will come up, but there'll become a point where they'll just be too old to kind of do it. But I don't know. I mean, I'd watch it. I would check it out. See like,
I guess that's why I thought Discovery and Strange New Worlds came on the scene, was to like, since they're not going to do the fourth Star Trek movie in the Kelvin timeline. Okay, well, here's Strange New Worlds and Discovery. This will pacify you,
Yeah. But
that's,
I mean, again, I think it's kind of like, because they have those and they have other things. I think people, and also I don't know if J.J. Abrams is going to have anything to do with this, but he's kind of got, his name's kind of mud. So it's kind of like they better get somebody else. Hopefully he's not involved, because if people see his name, they literally like it's. And I remember J.J. Abrams was like, when you saw his name, like, oh, that's going to be good. And it's like, now it's like J.J. Abrams. Oh no.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would probably watch it. I don't know how other fans feel. I'm not, like I said, I'm not like against it. Yes, there's a Highlander reboot, Darren, and it's gonna it's starting Daddy Cav. So
and Daddy Cav, is Henry Cavill, for those of you that came late.
Oh yeah, if you came in late. Yeah, we'll go back. The hair picture, yeah, because of a fan calling Henry Cavill Daddy Cav. So that's where that's coming from. So yeah, it's coming. It's obviously finally happening. I would watch it. I'm not gonna lie, I would watch it. I'm a big Highlander fan. I was always against a reboot because Christopher Lambert had a certain look, and I would have been okay with it if without that actor. He's too old now, but he was in The Expanse as well. If he had taken the role, I probably would have been okay with it. But I think it's going to have to be really good. It's going to have to be really good for people. And since Daddy Cav's involved, I will rest assured that it will be done correctly, because apparently he's a huge fan. So if he's a huge fan of something, he's going to try to at least fight or get fired.
Yeah, there can be only one or something. So yeah.
Yeah. And I heard it's going to be like a prequel. So
okay.
So Retro Doc is obviously still upset about the JJ ripping off Wrath of Khan, and the second Trek movie showed he was already out of ideas. So like I said, there's a lot of fans who do not like that. I didn't care because it was like I felt like it was a reboot, so it would make sense that they're gonna reboot some of the ideas. But I didn't mind Into Darkness, to be honest. I thought it was a better movie than the first one, but obviously it's because it is based on the retcon. Actor Collins says, I was anxious about the 2009 Star Trek movie, but that was okay for me. The franchise went downhill from there. I liked Beyond too. I thought Beyond was good. I don't know, how did you feel about Beyond?
I was actually watching that the other day. I made it like halfway through. It has its moments.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the casting of the movies was pretty good. I of course like Carl Urban as McCoy.
Yes.
He's my favorite character in it. I think he did a great job.
I love Simon Pegg as Scotty. So he renewed my love for Scotty for sure, because I didn't care much for Scotty in the original series or anything, but I like how in Beyond, how you had Carl Urban and Zachary Quinto, how they were playing the Spock and McCoy dynamic.
Yeah. And I thought it was good. I think for what it was really good. At the time, I remember thinking, well, why do we need to really make it? I didn't really, but I mean, I get it. Like they have all the special effects and they wanted to, for the new generation. I remember I saw it in IMAX, the first one.
Yeah, I just see it as a parallel Star Trek universe. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it's the Kelvin timeline. So yeah. I mean, there's some people that are really fans of the movies and they probably don't like the TV show. I mean, I guess it's okay. Don't understand it, but that's okay. They should have brought back the space hippies from TOS into the no, that wouldn't even saved it. That would no, that would have been horrible. And this is why you don't make decisions.
And this is why we don't do space operas or whatever, like in Strange New Worlds and Sing.
Oh yeah, that about killed me. Honestly, I think I'm still recovering from that. Yeah, but I thought they assured us that Sherlock's character was definitely not Khan until the movie came out. Well, they're going to do that. They don't want to reveal the ending, then you won't go see it. That's how it works. They're going to lie to you. Yeah. I expect them to mostly to lie to me. So here's an article about Daddy Cab. So, here's a little bit more information about the debacle that occurred when he was let go from The Witcher. And somebody confirms basically that what was alleged, and there's many versions of the reasons behind Cavill's departure from the show. The former Superman certainly loves to be in the series, or has been another factor in his career boost, and it was fun to play the character. But when Beau DeMayo, the former producer and writer of The Witcher, revealed excruciating details behind the show, it hit hard among fans, similar to Cavill's departure. It says, it's like, I've been on a show, namely Witcher, where some of the writers were not as actively disliked the books and games, even actively mocking the source material. It's a recipe for disaster and bad morale. Fandom as a limitless test checks egos and makes all the long nights worth it. You have to respect the work before you're allowed to add to its legacy. And that's DeMayo is revealing in the Instagram that what we've said, and I've seen in countless articles is true, is that they weren't, going by the lore of the show, of the books for the show, and it was pissing off Cavill. And so, and I would definitely believe that. I think that that's what happened. And I think when you do that, though, you completely cut off, you change the show into a political manifesto at that point, when you're just inserting and you're just your opinions and you're not going by the written work that was popular for a reason. Mm-hmm. And when you just for diversity, inclusive, being inclusive and all that, it's very, and so this is her comment, I believe. Undoubtedly, the books and games in the universe are a huge inspiration for the show, but there have been several instances that the show has shifted its narrative and its slight changes. There's more. Look, I didn't hate. Okay, first of all, let me just say, I didn't hate the show. I've read some of the books, I recognize that some of the characters were obviously race swapped. That happened. The first season was so good that it didn't matter. By the second season, I was getting a little bored and annoyed. For the third season, it just seemed like it wasn't Cavill's show anymore. It was just like, he was kind of like, we're getting rid of you, so we're going to focus on these other characters more. And the show's called The Witcher. Although the Freya Allen character is a big part of it, Ciri character, I just think that it was obviously a push because he's a big fan of the books. And I think that he just didn't like what he saw. And this is just happening. And I think that's why they replaced him with Liam Hemsworth. So this just confirms everything that everybody already knew, that it's just got ridiculous. It's just gotten totally ridiculous. We can't cast a character based on what they look like in the video game anymore or the book. If it's not diverse enough, we have to add these people. And it's like, it's just like, hire somebody based on what the characters described in a book or the video game. Stay true and you will have success. If you deviate from that, you will fail every time. And I think that's what happened with the show. I think the writing got so off the kilter of the lore and people just couldn't ignore the diverse casting anymore. Because that's true. The first season was great. And then like you skip the second season, you start noticing that more. I mean, I got something. I enjoyed watching all 3 seasons, but could it be better? Yeah, it could be. It could be like the book. It could be like the video game. It could have been what Henry Cavill wanted it to be. It should have been.
Yeah, because when people read the books or whatever, they want whatever, if it's a TV series or a movie, they want it to be true to the book and follow the book. For sure.
Yeah. And, he just couldn't handle it and he had to step away, and I don't blame him. I mean, you want that. And so I think that's an awesome example of what's going on with the media. It's like, shows start out so good, and I'm kind of hoping Strange New Worlds doesn't start going down that path where it's just about doing freaky musical episodes and just being the weirdest thing you can be.
Yeah.
Don't get off the path of what the origin of Star Trek really is. It's not about musical numbers and episodes.
No, it's exploring strange new worlds, period.
Yeah, that's in the title.
Yeah. So
take note, people. Take note. All right, so this is another article I thought was really cool. I don't know if you guys watch Tubi. Do you ever use Tubi to watch
every now and then? Yes, I will.
Okay, so Tubi's launching a Rabbit AI. It's a new tool to personalize viewing experiences. So basically what this is that Rabbit AI takes your search experience to the next level by letting you ask questions in a conversational way. So like when you're searching for something, like you want a show about fantasy with this actress, and I want it in this setting, I want it in an ethereal setting, and you could put all this information in just like you would be talking to me or you, and we kind of describe what we're looking for, and it's supposed to search based on a more of a conversational way. So like using prompts, like if you're creating a picture.
Okay.
Just like you would when chatting with a friend, instead of doing basic keyword searches, you can use natural language to find what you're looking for. For example, if you're in a debate with friends and what a funny shark movies to watch. Funny and shark, just
Jaws.
Sharknado, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaws. It's a laugh riot. That's just a riot.
It is.
Oh, yeah, laugh. Yeah, it is. There's some good scenes. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, some of the scenes you're like, you're not laughing. You can type in shark movies that are funny into Rabbit AI, and it will provide you with a list of movies that match your request. Or let's say you're developed a newfound interest in anime and you're interested in shows that highlight shonen friendships. You can ask Rabbit AI to find me anime that features shonen friendships, and it will present you with relevant options. And so what's even better is that you can save the results to your list, making it easy to access the content you discovered in all your devices. And this is a free service. Like, why isn't Netflix doing this?
Yeah, really.
Plus, Rabbit AI keeps a record of your search history within the feature, so you can easily revisit past search results whenever you want. The feature makes finding and enjoying content a breeze, and it's like having a personal search assistant at your fingertips. So I think it's cool. It's only for an app. There's no desktop, so you'd have to do this through the app. I'm not sure when this is coming out. I think they're doing like a beta form right now. But if you watch Tubi, just look out for it. Like if you have it on your phone.
Okay.
But I think that's really cool, and I don't understand why Netflix and the other streaming services aren't doing this. We pay enough.
Eventually, it'll get there.
Yeah. So Rabbit AI will begin rolling out as a beta test to Tubi's iOS mobile app for viewers across the U.S. starting today, but I assume this is a few days ago. Performing widely available in the coming weeks. Starting today, the Rabbit AI plugin for ChatGPT is available on OpenAI for subscribers. So it's like a ChatGPT type of search thing. And I'm sure I'll be very confused until I learn how to use it. But I may try to check it out at some point when it comes to Android. So I thought we'd turn it around and go back to Screen Rant. It's not Mark Donaldson this time. It's 2 10-plan movie sequels that thankfully never happened, which I thought was really interesting. Thinking about shows that like, they were planned a sequel, but it never came to fruition for reasons. Nick Cave's Gladiator 2. So Gladiator 2 is happening, just not in the form envisioned by musician Nick Cave.
Okay.
Following the massive success of Gladiator, ideas for sequels circulated around Hollywood for years, with Cave's script standing out. Cave is a fantastic musician, known by younger audiences for his songs used in Peaky Blinders and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. However, he isn't known for his screenwriting, making his Gladiator 2 script about Roman mythology far more surprising. The script would see Maximus in Elysium on a path back to life, a fantastical story arc that would feel too far-fetched compared to the original film. I don't know. Yeah, just a little.
Because he died. Leave it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, damn.
Yeah, just a little. Gladiator 2, they're all dead. They're all dead, Dave. Here's Retro Doc's suggestion. Tubi, find me a new show that doesn't suck. Search complete. No records. Actually, Tubi has some really old shows, so I'm sure you'll find something. Stay true to the source material. Come up with your own ideas. Yeah. Gladiator 2, where's the gender swap? Well,
no,
this was probably
bite your tongue.
Yeah, that will happen. That will happen. So the next one is The Departed 2. I watched The Departed. Personally, I wish I could have just like taken back that 2 hours. I wish I could get that back. It was all right. Basically, The Departed is based on the Hong Kong film Internal Affairs, which received 2 sequels by turning the movie into a similar franchise. Probably wouldn't have worked for the American remake. Similar to Internal Affairs 2, Mark Wahlberg playing for The Departed 2 wouldn't have been direct sequel. That's like really wordy. It's like, just get to it. Wahlberg described attempting to pitch for the film that didn't go very well. The Departed would be a difficult film to continue properly. Yeah, almost every character dies, and the story serves its purpose as an intense, exhilarating crime thriller. That's subjective. That works so well. And I didn't like this film. I don't know if you ever saw The Departed, but
no.
Yeah, it's just got a bunch of sleazy people that all die. Kind of like Gladiator, but Gladiator had a cool, well, except the main guy was good. But yeah. It's pretty much, everybody dies. The Dark Knight 4, because I think by the time The Dark Knight Rises came out, everybody was tired of Christian Bale's gravelly voice.
Wow.
Yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy is wrapped up neatly. While the third film isn't perfect, the ending is emotional and satisfying. Finding a way to bring Batman back would damage the ending. And I didn't really watch. I've seen bits and pieces of the Dark Knight Rises, and I was bored.
Wow.
Yeah, I just didn't. I don't know how you feel about the Nolan Batman series, but I am not a fan.
I'm not a huge Batman fan, period. So I haven't. The only one I watched was the one with Michael Keaton.
I liked the Dark Knight, and that was the only one I didn't like Batman Batman Returns or whatever. Not Batman Returns. It was like, I don't know what it was even called. I don't even care. I'm not big on Christopher Nolan. I wish he would stop making movies. They're just long and boring. For me, I didn't like Memento. I would really be hard pressed to find a Christopher Nolan movie that I actually like. Yeah, it's boring. I haven't seen this film. Have you?
Me neither. Nope.
Yeah. So Green Lantern 2, I don't care. I'm just glad it wasn't made. I wouldn't wish the first one. I'm not a Ryan Reynolds fan, first of all. I'm just not. I really have hard pressed to find anything again he's in that I like. So yeah,
I can take him or leave him. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen The Prestige. That's okay. I like it. I bet would I go back and rewatch it? No, I really wouldn't. Too long. Too long. So Independence Day 3. So I don't know. Did you see Independence Day 2?
That's the one. I know. Yeah. It's just been a long time. I've seen both of them. So yeah.
Oh, I have.
They were going to make a third one.
Apparently.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a little much. I heard Insurgents wasn't that great. The first movie I enjoyed when I first saw it. But then over time, it just, other than the Randy Quaid character, that's the only saving grace for me.
Exactly.
Right. Because Randy Quaid is just an awesome person, just in general.
Yes.
Little zany, but that's okay. We all a little eccentric. So Independence Day was one of the highest grossing and most popular films of the 90s, making it surprising that it took 20 years from the sequel to release. Independence Day Resurgence, not Insurgents, Resurgence. I was thinking of Star Trek. An awful sequel and was considered a failure at the box office. While an Independence Day 3 film was planned with a possible space mission to attack the aliens on their own stuff, the idea has been canceled. I think that's okay. I think we'll all survive if we don't get Independence Day 3. So The Golden Compass 2. I don't know if did you ever see this movie?
I did. I saw the first one.
What did you think about it? Did you like it?
I kind of liked it. I like the idea that everybody, well, in that particular universe, had an animal demon, and that's why I think the owl is mine. So it's an interesting storyline.
I think my son was little when we went and saw it, but apparently people were not happy with the Golden Compass. The reasons are because it wasn't atheist enough, apparently. Because his Dark Materials TV series has been to redeem the Golden Compass film, which was one of the most disappointing fantasy books adaptations ever. I didn't think the first movie wasn't that bad. While the adaptation has a great cast, including Daniel Craig, Nicole Kidman, Eva Green, and Ian McKellen, the film left out most of the commentary on organized religion that defined the depths of the novels. After the first film was a box office failure, plans to continue the franchise with sequels were canceled. Continuing without key elements of the story or trying to shoehorn them in later could have been likely resulted in a messy sequel. I just didn't see the point. I really didn't. I've never read the books. I don't really know much about it, but apparently people weren't happy because it didn't talk about organized religion enough.
Wow.
Boy, come to 2023 where that's where all you talk about and politics. So, it's the perfect time to come out with the Golden Compass 2 now.
Wow.
And I've never watched John Carter.
I mean, no, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I know that John Carter, the guy that plays him, I think is the guy that played Riggins in Friday Night Lights, the TV series.
Oh, yeah.
And he played in Battleship. He was a lieutenant, I think. So, but no.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a desire to watch John Carter. And I heard people telling me, oh, it's a good movie. And then I've heard people telling me it was a horrible movie. So it just never appealed to me. It looked a little too slick. And I think for a fantasy movie, it kind of has that fantasy feel. I think some of the fantasy films from the 80s were better because they were kind of more grittier.
Yeah.
And now they just look like runway models, and they're just like, coming out, like her on the right, she looks like she hasn't, she takes a bath every day, and she's no realism anymore. No, but I didn't even care about John Carter, let alone the making another sequel.
No.
This is like clever, right? This is it's called 8, which is the second part of 7.
Oh, brother. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So, and this person says 7 is not a movie that needs a sequel. I agree. As it's a standalone thriller film that relies on its writing, director, and stars, all of which are elements that sequel would have lacked. A plan for a sequel, ridiculously titled 8. They thought they were so clever with that. Was introduced to David Fincher, Brad Pitt, and Morgan Freeman, all of whom declined to take part. The story was meant to follow an FBI utilizing a psychic to track down a serial killer. The idea for the film finally got used for 2015 Solace, which received 24% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. And I actually think I saw that movie. It was just okay. So
wow.
we've all seen Forrest Gump. I would assume most people have seen Forrest Gump.
That needs to be just left alone as a standalone movie. And
Gump and Company, is following Forrest Gump, author Winston Groom wrote a novel called Gump and Company. So it's based on a book. It's a sequel. While Forrest Gump was a major success and Academy Award winner, neither its star Tom Hanks nor director Robert Zemeckis expressed any interest in returning for a sequel. While the event of 9/11 was a major factor in the film not going forward, Tom Hanks has also said that the conversations regarding a sequel didn't even last an hour before they decided not to do it.
Wise choice.
Yeah, I just don't see any point. I mean, what did you think of the first? Because people, I get different opinions from different people. Like, what did you think of the movie?
Forrest
some
Gump,
people hate it. Yeah,
it was okay. It was about this, kid and overcoming childish, issues, and from a kid that was always having to wear braces to a young man that broke out of those, and a little slow on the uptake, but
I think a lot of the reasons why people didn't like it was the fantastical element of him, like teaching Elvis to dance, or
but you never know. Yeah,
right. And I think that's what I kind of liked about the movie. That's to me what kind of saved the movie, other than the Gary Sinise character, which he was hilarious.
Yeah,
Lieutenant Dan. So I used to have a boss. His name was Dan. We used to call him Lieutenant Dan, just like Lieutenant Dan.
I mean, Forrest, he had like this innocence in his whole character that I think a lot of people could identify with.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think a better title for the sequel would be Chocolate Box. Why? Okay. I get it, but I just don't think that would bring them in either. So this is the next one that just a big fat no. A sequel to Mrs. Doubtfire was planned, with Robin Williams actually expected to appear in the project before his tragic passing. Going forward with the project without the late great actor would have been a huge misstep. Director Chris Columbus has been criticized the many theater adaptations of Mrs. Doubtfire, stating the story is nothing without Robin Williams' talent, and I totally freaking agree. So what would you think if he was alive? Do you think he could come back and play the role, and it would be something? It would be the same.
I don't think it would be the same. I think when he played Mrs. Doubtfire, I mean, that was just over the top, and I loved him as that. And I don't know how you would really top that. I think that, if they would have done a sequel, it would definitely have to have Robin in it for sure. But I don't think it would have been as good as the first one.
No. And I think that it needed to stay there. I think they would have made like a Netflix movie. It probably would have been one of those, direct to Netflix, and it probably would have been cute, but it wouldn't have been the same. Archer Collins says they should have gone with the original name, Princess of Mars, although the film was half that and half God of Mars. You're talking about the John Carter supposed sequel that was supposed to come out. So, it's kind of getting close to Halloween season. I thought we should talk about some of the most terrifying Stephen King characters ranked quickly. Not too much time on that, but I've actually read this book, but I've never seen the movie. And I will say in the book, the character is absolutely terrifying. Because here's a guy that is some sort of like, from what I remember, I think he's a teacher. No, he's a former Nazi officer hiding in suburban America, first introduced in the novella Apt Pupil. The mass murderer's unspeakable evil past is discovered by a young boy named Todd Bowden, who basically is just as bad as the Nazi officer.
Oh boy.
Yes. And so the Apt Pupil is a meditation of the enduring evil in the past and the corrosive effect on obsessing over such evil. Director Bryan Singer's 1998 film adaptation thrilled audiences in which Dussander, played brilliantly by Sir Ian McKellen, was nothing short of horrifying. I have not seen the movie. I have read the book. And it was like talking about meeting two individuals that were like fire and fire.
Oh boy.
Or like gasoline on fire kind of thing.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's a really like a good story. However, I have not seen the movie, but it might be one on my list that I may want to watch. I see it and I keep passing it because for me, I think Nazi characters are some of the most horrifying, terrifying people. Not as bad as serial killers per se, but in a way they kind of are serial killers.
Yeah.
They have that mentality. So for me, I don't know on this list. I don't know. We haven't gone through all of them, but I would say this would be up on the top for me as far as any kind of character, just in general.
I only know a few Stephen King characters. I have to agree with the Darren Zone though. Annie Wilkes from Misery.
And she might be in the list. I don't remember.
Yeah.
If she's not, there's something wrong with this list. So we'll correct that if not. But this one is a personal childhood one because this was the show that I saw as a kid that terrified me. It's a Kurt Barlow from the 70s miniseries Salem's Lot. And he's terrifying in the book, although in the book he speaks, in the movie he does not. And I personally think the fact that he doesn't speak is more terrifying than when he does speaks in the book. I don't know. It's like, sometimes it's what you don't hear or see.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, like, I still have nightmares about that whole setup of someone like your friend or your brother or whatever, somebody like floating outside your window with these demon eyes staring at you. Salem's Lot 70s miniseries. I have it in there on the Blu-ray. It is an amazing, amazing film. It's a great Halloween watch. And David Soul is in this movie. And it's just, I don't know. Have you ever seen it?
No, I have not. No.
It's still terrifying for a TV movie.
That's the one with the vampires, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No,
there are different. It's about a town that basically is taken over by Kurt Barlow, which is this vampire here. He moves into town with oh good Lord, how can I ever forget his name? The actor. Can't remember. It'll come to me like 3 hours later, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. He was in North by Northwest. He's always playing a really debonair character. He's the antique dealer. He's like the the Willie Loomis to, like how Willie Loomis was to Jonathan Fred. He's like the Willie Loomis to the Kurt Barlow character.
Okay.
And it's an incredible watch. And it's a 70s movie. It's not a blood fest or anything like that, but there is definitely some like eerie moments, especially when Kurt Barlow starts showing himself to people and just appearing in their homes, which I would be needing Depends.
Can we send him to Joe Biden? I don't know. He might
Yeah,
run for
sure.
Joe Biden too. I mean,
We don't want him to turn him because the whole idea of Kurt
Oh,
Barlow
no.
wasn't to kill necessarily; it's a turn. We really want a vampire Biden. As
No.
hilarious as that would be, as hilarious as a vampire Biden would be, I don't think we want him living forever. Sorry.
True.
I don't think we
True.
want him as president forever. And if that's the case, they might just leave him in there forever
Ugh.
if he's a vampire. So great film. I could talk about it all day. Yeah, we did that. We did that about a year ago. Yes, James Mason. Thank you very much, Archer. God, I ever forget James Mason. James Mason is a phenomenal actor. Was a phenomenal actor.
Archer said Biden wouldn't be interested. No hair to sniff. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Oh no, but if he had a bloodlust, can you imagine? Oh,
he's already the crypt keeper. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be a vampire too. No, but yes, this is it's a great film. And I know you're not into horror movies, but just for the David Soul is incredible. I mean, I thought David Soul should have won an Emmy for his performance in this movie. I thought it was well done. David Soul, Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, yeah.
Numerous other shows, but yeah. Anyway, I could go all day, so I just won't. So this is number 6, the Overlook Hotel, The Shining. I don't know. It's scary. It's a scary place. It's what's inside the hotel, really. That makes it scary. I don't know if have you seen this, The Shining?
No, I've only seen the clip of that from Ready Player One. So they have a little clip of that.
Yeah. Great film. Stephen King disagrees, but that's okay. I thought the Kubrick film was the best. But it's really what's in the hotel that's scary. The hotel itself to me isn't very scary. It's just what's going on in the hotel, which is these 2 little twin girls and the blood that floods the hallways and makes you crazy and makes you take axes and quote Johnny Carson. So yeah, it's a good on the list, but I don't know. It's what's inside the hotel, really. It's like I would rather than pick something like inside the hotel to say this was scary, but I didn't make the list. So I recently, I don't know, did you ever watch the miniseries of The Stand that was on in the 90s?
No, I've seen, I think, The Langoliers is the one I'm thinking.
That was good. Yeah, I've seen that too. That was actually a good one. That's about the plane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was actually recently. I had watched the remake of The Stand, the Paramount Plus, and it was good. It wasn't as bad as people thought said it was, but this one is definitely definitely a good character in The Stand. Obviously, Randall Flagg is the devil. But The Stand in the 1994 miniseries is really great. Again, Gary Sinise is really, to me, one of the standout characters in that film or in that miniseries. Probably the coolest character he's ever played. Although I think in the new version, James Marsden, which I'm not a huge fan of, actually does a really good version of that character as well. But it deserves to be on the list. I was never really scared of this, terrified of this character. He just seemed like a big old bully that just needed to be put in his place. But The Stand is a great miniseries, and you guys, the 1994 version is a great miniseries. The book as well is my favorite Stephen King books. I like the religious element to it, the good versus evil. Yeah. And it's just if you want to watch The Stand 1994 miniseries, watch it for Gary Sinise. He's a cool character.
Okay.
So here you go. Annie Wilkes, Misery.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I know you're a fan. The bedroom scene. And the sledgehammer. Nope. I will never ever forget that scene.
It was worse in the book.
Oh, I can imagine. Gosh.
She actually cut his feet off in the book.
Yeah.
They felt like that it would have been way too much. And I these days they would have probably done it.
Yeah.
And that's why it was like a hobbling. But yeah, she cut off his feet.
So I
So
seeing her in that role and then seeing her like in The Blind Side, it's like, wow, night and day difference in the characters, you know. So
yeah. I don't know about you, but did you kind of at some point kind of feel sorry for her a little bit?
yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
At the beginning, you know, where she's like, it just seems like she's just she's a lonely person that just doesn't have anybody. I mean, that's in love with Liberace, which, that's the thing I remember about Misery, that she loved Misery. And she had these little figurines that when he got out, like he was really, you know, he moved one and that's how she knew he got out. But James Caan was incredible in this movie as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a terrifying character. So she was like the Doctor Who. She's like a Doctor Who fan, except she's, you know, it's like
fanatic, real fanatic.
yeah, real fanatic. I mean, like ridiculous fanatic. It's like the Jodie Whittaker fan.
Oh gosh.
You know. Great movie though. I hope they never remake it.
Yeah, that would have to be left alone.
Yeah, so yeah, I remember watching this with my parents and them being very like, you know, she seemed so sweet, and then like by the end of the movie you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And it's not a wonder that he was traumatized, kept seeing her everywhere. But great film. Hope they never remake it. Leave it alone.
Yep.
I'm assuming you've seen this movie or you know, obviously you know about the movie.
I know about the movie. I have not. I might have seen bits and pieces. I think Tracy's seen it. So
it's a good movie. It's one I've seen so many times now that it doesn't have the same impact that it did back in the 80s when I watched it for the first time. And you know, I think the ending is what, you know, it was a really good jump scare, and it was a time where that kind of was more effective.
okay.
I never thought she was a scary, terrifying character though. To me, she seemed like somebody that just didn't have a handle on her powers. And
Okay.
yeah, it was more like that. Like she was relentlessly like bullied horribly by these girls, and because one of the girls, which is played by Amy Irving, felt bad for her, she had her boyfriend, played by William Catt, take her out.
Yeah.
And to the prom. And in revenge for getting the girl in trouble and they couldn't go to the prom, they threw pig blood on her, and which caused her powers to kind of go crazy, which again killed a lot of people. And her mom was just really a messed up person. So I really never thought this character, I thought her mom was more terrifying than Carrie, because her mom was like really like a fanatical ridiculous fanatical, like Children of God, Jonestown,
boy. Okay.
kind of religion. So I never really thought Carrie was a terrifying character. I thought it was very sad that she didn't have control of powers, but so I kind of disagree with that. I don't know why that's on the list. I don't know. Have you seen the movie? Because it's not really like she's like really she just can't help it. She just loses control.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a good movie. It's not one of those movies that it shows pig blood here, but it's not one of those movies that's overly gory.
Okay.
Let's see. And of course, Jack Torrance, The Shining. He's terrifying. I'd say I wouldn't want to be locked in a hotel with him in a snowstorm. Not this character, where she's obviously possessed. And
I wouldn't want to be locked in a hotel with Jack Nicholson for anything.
No, he's weird. He's creepy. He
is.
Let's just say, like, I don't know, like, but I don't know. It's like Harvey Weinstein always gave out this weird vibe.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson gives me the same vibe.
Yes. Yes.
Like
Yes.
he's just one of those creepy dudes that like is always trying to like have sex with you that you don't want to have sex with.
Pass. Yeah.
Pass. Great actor, but just I
Yeah.
think a lot of that has to do with the roles he plays and that perception of it. He's never been a not creepy guy though in a movie to me. Like he was in that show Wolf. He played a guy that turns into a wolf. He was still creepy, extra creepy.
He also played in A Few Good Men, and he was a Marine in there. But it was creepy. I would not want to, have
that
to
guy was
under
doing
him.
That character was doing some stuff.
Yes.
No, like underhanded stuff. That's what it is. It's the underhanded. It's like there's Christopher Walken who's kind of creepy, but he's not like creepy like the Jack Nicholson creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather be locked in a hotel with Christopher Walken than than Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson. No.
And Retro Doc was right. Of course, the first one's Pennywise. It's okay. I don't like this Pennywise. I like the Tim Curry Pennywise. That's to me is more terrifying. And I'm not scared of clowns at all. I'd punch him in the face. So, I think it's something very innocent. That's what scares people.
Yeah, my son Michael does not like clowns at all. Never has. So
I can understand why people are scared of it, but it's I think it's the creature inside is what to me that's terrifying. Like he takes children, that's scary, but like I don't like just if I see a person dressed up as a clown on the side, I'm not going to freak out. Like it doesn't like I have a Pennywise pop over there.
Yeah.
So it's not like I can look at it. It's not like, and I think I remember when we went to a haunted house about 10 to 15 years ago, and it was all like clowns. And I'm like, this isn't scary. This is stupid.
Yeah.
Whatever. Kind of jump out and scare you. And it's like, dude, this does absolutely nothing for me. I don't get this. This is not scary. This is just, I did think actually John Wayne Gacy was scarier than Pennywise, just the way he did his makeup.
Wow.
Which was intentionally like, clowns don't do their makeup up generally, especially their lips. And that actually makes it more terrifying than the ones that, and he did his like his makeup very, very weird. But yeah, Pennywise, number one. I disagree. I think Kurt Barlow. I think he's scarier. I would be really terrified. That and actually the Nazi over this. And Annie Wilkes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Mm-mm-mm.
So, as always, I always like have to throw some craziness at the end. But we all like cons. I'm assuming that we've all been to some.
Yeah, I've been to one.
Right. So I thought this was really interesting. 21 weird conventions, strange hobbies, bringing people together. The bringing people together, you'll see like later, like, I don't want to go to these, but they're very interesting that, we all think of cons. We think of Doctor Who, we think of Supernatural or Star Trek or one of those. These are quite different. These are the International Mr. Leather Competition. Which is held in Chicago. So if anybody's interested, we'll hook you up and you can hook you up. That's haha. Virginia celebrate and explore their leather subculture, including BDSM and fetish activities. A tradition that started 40 years ago is holding strong, and they even have a contest, and the best guy dressed in a leather getup winning the top prize.
Okay.
So later, Archer, thanks for coming. Retro Doc says the chief clown from The Greatest Show in the Galaxy was scarier than Pennywise. I agree. If you've never seen that episode with Doctor Who, you should watch it. It's Sylvester McCoy. That clown in that episode was so creepy. I agree. That should be on the. Actually, that should not Stephen King, but it should be on a list. Yeah. Gary says, no, and I'm assuming you're meaning the International Mr. Leather Competition, MIL. So you won't be attending that one. Okay, well maybe we have something else for you. The annual Air Guitar World Championships, Oulu, Finland. So it's a
Wow.
convention where participants perform with imaginary guitars and complete for prizes. Common genres are rock and heavy metal since they involve a lot of facial expressions, head swirling, and impressive guitar skills. I mean, go for a laugh.
Yeah.
Especially fat guys like kind of be
Wow.
there. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I agree. The child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was nightmare fuel. Yes, that was creepy. Very creepy. I remember that. The things we let our kids watch, our parents let us watch, like the scene in Willy Wonka where they're going through the tunnel. It's all this weird Clockwork Orange crap. So how many people can I put down for the annual Air Guitar World Championships? Because I don't think the leather festival is going to be a go. So this was an interesting one, and I'm sure from people in the UK, is the World Conquer Championships, which is it's North Hampshire, England, and basically the idea is the annual World Conquer Championships is a convention where participants complete a game where they hit each other's conquer a type of nut. That sounds so bad. With the string. It may sound kind of nuts, pun intended. Gary is going to love that. But this started as a venture to raise money for those who are visually impaired. Since its origin in 1965, they managed to raise over 420,000 pounds for charity. I mean, there's worse to do with your time. Oh, it gets worse. Cooper's Hill cheese rolling in Gloucestershire. I can't say that. It's like Worcestershire. Gloucestershire, England. If you love cheese, look at that guy in the corner with the black shirt. God.
Yeah.
If you love your cheese, the event where participants roll a wheel of cheese down a hill and chase after it should be on your list. It's a mix of weird and fun, prone to accidents. Yeah, you think? 100%, and you get to win some cheese, as it was implied. I'll go buy some cheese.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not going to chase after it.
Chasing the cheese. There's a crying room for all the parents of the contestants in the air guitar competition. Man. So, any guys out in the chat would be interested in chasing your cheese? God, that sounds so bad. Go down to the Cooper's Hill cheese rolling in wake. Is the wake mean after that some people die and then they have a wake? I'm confused. So this is a very interesting, and then that you could be a part of the annual mooning of the Amtrak, Laguna Niguel, California, and Gary's close to there. I'm gonna figure that one day we'll see Gary lined up with these people. The hint is right there in the name. People gather to moon passing Amtrak trains. Apparently, it started in 1979 with someone offered to buy a free drink for the one who mooned the passing train, and years later, it's a tradition. Pass. Yeah. It would be funny just to stand and observe this, though. Not the other side. I don't want to be on the train.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, if you're interested, Gary, it's in Laguna. I don't know how far that is from you, but they have it every year. So,
wow.
So here's another one. They have the National Hobo Convention in Britt, Iowa, USA. So it's a convention for hobos and those interested in hobo culture. Taking place on the second weekend of every August since 1900, it consists of hobos, rail riders, and tramps. God, this is ridiculous. And gathering up to celebrate the American traveling worker. Some of the events that take place include Hobo 5K and Hobo 10K walk run, Hobo auction, Hobo memorial service, and Hobo Classic Car Show, and the Hobo Arts and Crafts Show. Wow. Wow, that's
Wow.
I don't know what to say. Isn't all of like Chicago and New York just hobos now?
Who knows?
That's one city over from me. I'm already signed up. I heard Biden might be on the Amtrak. If you're interested, you can moon him. You could hit, do two things at once, You could moon Biden and the Amtrak train. So
and then go to the Hobo Festival.
Yeah. In Iowa.
Oh my goodness.
So I actually, this one right here is just, first of all, I can't even pick up anything with my toes, let alone like wrestle. World Toe Wrestling Championships, Wetton Staffordshire, England. So participants complete to see who can pin down their opponent's toes. They start with the right foot, then left, and right again if necessary. Best 2 out of 3 wins.
Gary said, don't they know it's 2023? Shouldn't it be National Hobo Queen and Queen?
Or King and King.
Yeah.
Or non-binary. It's Hobo non-binary. A non-binary Hobo of the year. That's what it would be. Or Hobo, trans Hobo.
I've heard of Indian wrestling, but I've never heard of toe wrestling. That's just weird. I
literally can't pick up anything in my toes. My toes are just, it wouldn't work.
Well, see, Tracy doesn't have a big toe on one foot, so he wouldn't even qualify. I mean, my goodness.
He'd be champion as somebody that, that didn't have a chance and he wins, that would be funny.
My goodness.
So this one right here, I just don't see how in the world is this allowed? Roadkill Cook-Off. Marlington,
because
West
it probably
Virginia.
Takes place in the Appalachian Mountains. That's why. I'm willing to bet.
I mean, they don't look like they've got banjos or anything, or they're not like a kid from Deliverance. I don't understand. Like, these look like fairly normal people. I mean, I didn't get a close up, but wow, that's God. I mean, just gross.
Well, there's possum up there, about a mile away from me. I could go get that, and I'm sure I could find something to fix for you.
Disgusting.
Yeah, right. Oh my word.
World Wrestling. This is why England lost the Revolutionary War. Yeah, they've been the weirdest. Although I think this kind of beats it. Because hey, you know what? I'm just glad it wasn't Texas. It's West Virginia. So if you were looking for a sugar daddy, Sugar Baby Summit is for you. Various locations around the globe. So if you're interested in the sugar baby lifestyle, where younger people enter into romantic relationships with older, wealthy individuals, give this one a go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's something for everybody. I don't think that's what Funko had in mind when they coined that term, but I think that is really true. There is something for everybody. Some whatever weird thing they got, they got it. It's just insane.
Yeah. Gary said, "Roadkill Cook-Off. That tire tread adds a special flavor." Yeah, that was Michelin 500 there. Yeah. My goodness.
Gross. And this is gross too. This should be the roadkill. The International Hair Freezing Contest, Dakini Hot Springs, Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada. Leave it to Neil's birthplace to, I don't know if this is his birthplace, but Canada.
Yeah.
To have the weirdest thing. A competition is what you see as participants competing to create the wildest and most creative hairstyles by freezing their hair in extreme cold weather, all while sitting in a hot spring.
Jeez.
Wow. Yeah, it looks like a bad sequel to like The Grinch that stole something. They look like, Dr. Seuss characters.
Something
crazy,
Jeez.
man. It's finally something I'd go to. Yes, but you're not a billionaire, Gary. You're not a millionaire. I know you're not a millionaire. That's what I'm saying. They've got some weird stuff in Canada. They really do. The Great World Championship Bathtub Race, Vancouver, Canada. Again, with Canada, weird. So they stick a bathtub in a boat, and then
put an outboard motor on it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Why? Here's another one that Gary would go to. The annual MerCon, South Haven, Michigan, USA. Convention for mermaid enthusiasts, featuring workshops, performances, and other activities. Attendees being them male or female, dress up as mermaids and participate in underwater activities. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's not too weird. I mean, I guess it is if the guys do it, but I don't know. It's not too weird. I'm not like, I actually saw a doc about girls that this is their thing. They just like dressing up as mermaids and getting into a pool, or, you know, just doing the whole like dressing up as a mermaid. I mean, hey, whatever floats your boat. And if you have to have a bathtub in it, then you have a bathtub in it, you know, whatever. Where do I sign up for that? Well, you have to dress up as a merman. That's the cat. That's the clincher. So you want to do that. International Cherry Pit Spitting Championship. So established initially in Eau Claire. There's a no-brainer. Participants compete to see who can spit a cherry pit the farthest distance. God, people will make a sport out of anything.
No kidding. Oh my word.
International Frog Jumping Contest. Also in California. See, I don't see any Texas in here. Or Tennessee. Have you?
That's right.
So
we're the same.
It's all people. The weird places. Dating back to since 1928, the bring your own frog to compete in champion competitions is not as easy as it may sound. You have to encourage your frog to jump in order to cross the finish line first. And this involves yelling, blowing in its direction, dancing, doing whatever it takes as long as the rules allow it.
Just chase it with a car. It'll move.
This guy looks like he's jumping with it. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. It's so weird. Is that Keanu Reeves?
Oh,
now this isn't so weird. Like, I don't understand. Like, why is this on this list? National Taxidermist Association Convention, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Look, it's not. I mean, I think what happens in Psycho, Norman Bates gave taxidermy like the worst reputation.
Okay,
it's a lot of people do taxidermy. It's not like a weird thing. You're into it. You're into it. I'm personally not, but if you are, you are. I know people that have deer heads on their walls, so
yeah,
this doesn't seem odd to me. And last but not least, the Eurofurence Convention, various locations. It's a furry convention where people dress up as furries. Somewhere in line with the previous event. Here we are again with have animal lovers. In this case, people dress up as anthropomorphic animals and attend the convention full of weird costumes, performances, and artwork. No, actually, I was wrong. That's not the last. Leave it to the UK to have the World Girding Championships. A convention where participants contort their faces to create the weirdest and funniest expressions. A childhood pastime might see you crowned the big winner, so go for it. Okay. The guy in the first picture looks like Popeye.
Yeah.
El Calacho Baby Jumping Festival. So basically, this is in Spain where they jump over babies because of the Catholic feast of Corpus Christi. I would kill a motherfucker if they landed on my baby.
No shit. Shoot right out of the air. Oh my God.
So a lesson of these is that people have way too much time on their hands, and I do too, apparently, because I posted the article. International Festival Worm Charming Competition. So you charm worms. And this is also in the UK. A convention where participants compete to see who can attract the most earthworms to the surface. Voted Europe's most unmissable festival. It requires zero experience and offers a lot of other activities. Granted, way more common than this. A dog show, a football tournament, and a beer and music festival, among others. I bet you anything if Hillary Clinton walked by, she could pull up those worms from the ground.
Or they'd go the other way and run.
Yeah, that's true. They probably would. They probably would just stay down there. The annual World Pillow Fighting Championships.
Okay, now I can get on board with that.
Let me tell you something. You can really you can hit somebody. You can hurt somebody with a pillow.
Yes.
A championships where participants compete in a pillow fighting tournament. And I'm sure like all the guys in the chat, they're fine with it as long as the women are wearing lingerie.
I'm sure.
The parents who allow their babies to do that should be arrested. I agree. I think that's it's in Spain, so they probably don't have the same culture we do. So is that Christian Bale? I don't know which one. Probably the one that looked like Keanu Reeves. Oh, this is the one. This is the last but not least. A BronyCon, honorable mention. A now defunct convention for fans of the animated television show My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. The attendees, who are mostly adult males, used to dress up in costumes of their favorite characters. This is our list of weird conventions. If there's a handful of people steering the same interest, no matter how weird or uncalled for, the chances of being a convention, festival, etc. to celebrate are real. Do your research, find your crowd, and enjoy your ride. No thanks.
Gary said that pillow fighting championship could be kind of hot.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. As long as they're in lingerie or some skimpy attire, guys are like, yeah, I'll go for that. It didn't look like they had like spandex on, which I guess that'd be okay for you too, I guess. And that's it all we have today. A little longer than usual. I had a lot. I started early this week, so that's what you get when you start early. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Check out one of those conventions. I know Gary's going to go to the mooning of the Amtrak train next year, if that happens, and we video it or it didn't happen.
Oh my word!
Every adult male who dresses up as My Little Pony character should be arrested. There, I said it. It's a little strange, I think. A lot of people think it's they're trying to get in with young girls and stuff, and it's a possibility. I don't put anything past anybody.
Yeah, for real.
But so anyway, that's all we have, guys. Join us for next week. Hopefully we'll have more news. Hopefully we'll have some good news instead of all this negative crap, and maybe at some point I'll finish Stargate Atlantis and we'll have a Stargate Atlantis stream.
Yeah, and we'll have Joe back on.
Yeah, we have Joe back on, and
I'll see if we can't get David Hewlett on.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, he might do that. I know he does a lot for kids and stuff. He has his own Tech Bandit show, and he talks with a lot of kids, and they're into all the technological stuff and all that, which I think is really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy. And as watching my watch through of Stargate Atlantis, it's so funny because I know a lot of actors at Stargate Atlantis and Stargate SG-1 have been on Supernatural like later on, and I didn't realize that Amanda Tapping, who plays an angel on Supernatural, was also in Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis. And then I see so many I'm like, wow, this character is so many. I think the reason is because they were both filmed in Canada, so they had access to the same actors. So I just think that's incredibly cool. I'm like, oh, right. You know, Mitch Pileggi, who played in Stargate and plays Stargate Atlantis, is in Supernatural as their grandfather. So it's really cool how it's like a lot of
really.
Yeah.
Well, and he also played in the X-Files. He was A.D. Skinner in the X-Files. So
there's a lot of
X-Files,
and there is a lot of connections from the X-Files to Supernatural, and then obviously to Stargate Atlantis with some of the same actors. So it's really cool. Anyway, guys, that's all we got. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and join us next week. We'll come back, and who knows what we have in store. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Later, guys.
Cheerio.
Bye.